Hello everyone, welcome to my kitchen. My name is Michael. Today I'm going to show you how to make chicken stock with a whole chicken. I need the chicken because I'm going to be using the stewed meat off of that for another recipe. And I thought, well, while I was doing that, I'd just make some chicken stock out of it. So I'm going to show you how that works. So let's get started with the ingredients now. So I've got my chicken here, and it's about a 6-pound chicken. And I'm going to go ahead and put that into my stock pot now. I'm going to take this bowl away and I'll go wash my hands so I don't contaminate my kitchen with the chicken after just touching that, and I'll be right back. So let's get started working with our other ingredients now. Now I've got a couple of bay leaves here and I'm going to put those in. You can put as many of these as you like. I've got 2 here. I'm just going to go ahead and drop those in. They're fairly good size on those. And then I've got some garlic here. Now if you don't like a lot of garlic taste in those, you don't have to put as many as I'm going to put in mine, but if you want to put about 4 or 6 of the large ones in there, that would be great. And to do that, you just want to give them a little smash, and that way that'll release those oils out of that once that starts cooking, or you can cut it into big chunks. There's not going to be any real mincing with any of these things because we're going to be straining everything off at the end, because once the chicken is stewed and the vegetables do what they're going to do, there's not going to be much left of these veggies anyway. So just give them a rough tapping there and kind of break them up a little bit to get some of those oils out. I've got some fairly small ones here too, so I'm going to drop about 8 in. So by making a stock, it's a great way to clean out your refrigerator if you've got some veggies in there that aren't quite as fresh as you'd like them to be, and then maybe some of them that aren't as pretty that you might not want to cook with. You can definitely use those. Now with that, you just want to rough chop your carrots and your ingredients, because you really don't need to mince them down really fine with those. And normally I'd put about 4 carrots in there, but I've got some really small ones, and so the small ones might make one large one. So I'm just going to put what I've got in there, and I'm just going to use that. All right, I've got my carrots in now, and I've got some celery stalks here, and I'm going to put in 3 of those. And with the 3 that I got here, I'm going to just kind of give those a rough cut so that we get all of those nutrients and flavor out of that. And like I say, this is just really easy, just big chunks. If you've ever noticed the stock that you get in the store kind of has a brownish color to it, that's because the manufacturer left the skin into the stock. So we're just going to put that in there just like that. If you don't want that brownish color and you want more of a clear color stock, then you can take those skins off. You don't have to put those in. And we're just going to kind of give that a rough chop. Now the last ingredient that I'm going to put into my stock is I've got some peppercorns here. And this is about a teaspoon of those. And these are whole black peppercorns. I'm just going to put those in just like that. Now you could put salt in it if you want to, and go ahead and salt your stock. I'm not going to do that because I like salting it when I'm cooking with it. That's the problem that I find with the stocks that you get in the store. Some of them are just really, really salty. And then by the time you put that into whatever you're cooking and you've already got another combination of salt in the recipe, it's going to be way over salted. So I'm not going to put any salt in this. I'm going to salt it when I get ready to use it. So if you want to, you could. I'm not going to. And this is what we've got now for our stock. Just whatever you've got in the refrigerator that you need to clean out, you can definitely do that. There's some vegetables that you can't use that will be really not good in your stock, and bell peppers and things. I don't like those in mine. I think it makes them bitter. And then squashes and things like that, you definitely don't want to put anything like that in it either. So then I've got some water here, and I'm just going to go ahead and add the water. And with that, we want to make sure that we get the chicken and all the veggies and things with about 1 to 2 inches of water above that, so it gives the opportunity for the chicken to cook. And plus the water that we're going to have in here is what's going to turn into our stock. So I'm going to go grab some more water and put over my chicken here. So I've got my water in now, and with what I've got measured out here, I've got about a gallon of water in here right now with that. So some of that's going to cook down for sure, and then we're going to get some of the juice that's going to come out of the chicken that's going to make that nice stock on that. So I'm going to take this to the stove. I'm going to bring it to the boil. And then once I bring it to a boil, then I'm going to turn it down, or I'm going to simmer it with the lid on it, and that way that'll keep a lot of that steam in there and get that chicken to cook. And what's going to happen then is the chicken's going to cook really nicely. You want it to where when you pull it out of the pot, it's falling apart. That's how much we want to cook that, because we're going to use the meat in another recipe. And the cartilage that's in the chicken and the bones, they're going to add a nice flavor to our stock. So we want that to really cook down. So again, this could take hour to 2 hours depending on how high you have your stove. I'm going to simmer this, and I'll come back and let you know how long it takes. I'm anticipating about 2 hours on mine. So I will see you back when this is done, and we will move on to the next step. I am back, and my chicken is done. I wanted to show you what that looked like. I'm going to take the top off of this. I'm going to take a spoon here. I've let it cool down just a little bit so I can show you what this looks like. You can see how the pieces of the chicken there have come separated and it looks like it's getting ready to fall apart. Then definitely that is ready to go. So I've got one of these scoops, I'm going to call it wire net, and I'm going to pick up the chicken out of this pot and I'm going to remove it so that I can get my stock out. I'm going to go ahead and transfer that to this other bowl here, and you can see from the looks of that it has already fell apart on me. So I'm going to go ahead and get the veggies out of here, and I'm going to put those in here as well. That way I can let this cool down and I can manage to go and pull the chicken off the bones, and they will have done their purpose for what we needed to here. So I'm going to continue to scoop out as much of this as I can get out of here. You can see how translucent the onions are and the celery, so they have done their job. They're not going to be used in what we're going to be using for. I've got a nice golden color on my stock, and like I said earlier, that was from those onions that we left the skin on those. So if you don't want it like that, you want more of a clear stock, then definitely you can take the outer skin off those onions, because that does impart a little bit of color. All right, I've got all of that out there. I'm going to set this to the side now. Now I've got some colanders here that we want to strain our stock through, and I've got two different size screens on that. I've got one that's got bigger holes in it, and then I've got one that's more of a finer mesh screen, and then I've got a smaller one that I'll use to get the last little bit out of it. And from looking at it, this little pot that I've got here is not going to hold what I need. I'm going to need this larger one. So that'll be good. That way that can, I'll just put both of these inside of each other, and that will give it a double filter. And we will go ahead and see about getting the stock out of here and get it filtered through. I'm going to go grab a measuring cup so I can get that moved from this pot into this one. Now this time I'm just going to scoop this out and just strain this through here. And that way if there's any bigger pieces, and then that will hold it in this larger stock here. You might get some parts of the chicken that have cooked out and some of the veggies that have cooked apart, and we've got all of those whole peppercorns that have done their job. We'll see those. Once this gets the weight out of it enough that I can pick it up, then I'm going to transfer it over, and I believe I can be able to pick that up like that. I'm going to put this here with my chicken just to get it out of the way. Yeah, I can pick this up now. Let me grab me a pot holder, because I know this is still hot on the bottom, and let's strain this through this mesh. All right, I've got all of my stock now in this one pot, and I've got another sieve here that's got a much finer mesh on it that I can run everything through again. That way I can get the stock really clean and clear and get a nice stock on that. So I pick up a little bit of it here so you can see the color of it, what nice color we've got on that. That is a nice pretty chicken stock there. It looks just like what you get in the store, except now you know what's in this because you made it, and you don't have to worry about any preservatives in it or the amount of salt that's in it. If you're watching your sodium intake, that's a perfect way to do that, is just make your own. Now at this point, now that you've got it and you've got it strained the way you want to give it a taste to see what you like about it. If it's a little too watery and you like it more of an intense chicken flavor, then definitely put that back into your stock pot and boil it down just a little bit more, and that'll boil off some of that liquid, and what will be left behind will intensify the flavor of your chicken stock. If you like the way that it is, then you can go ahead and put it in your container and put it in the refrigerator, and you want to use it within the next 3 to 4 days. If you don't think you're going to use this much stock at one time, you can also take it and put it into freezer safe containers, and you can freeze it. So this week I'm going to be using some of it in some of the recipes that I'm going to be making, but this is just way too much for me to even take that way. And if you don't have the freezer space, then you can definitely, if you've got a pressure canner, you can pressure can your stock just like you would get it at the store, and that way it's shelf stable and you can use it whenever you want to. And that's what I'm going to be doing with this, and I'm going to make a video with that as well. So definitely check out some of my other videos. I've got some of the ones where I've pressure canned some beans, and I'll have some stock on there when I've done those. The reason we can't water bath can this is because this is a low acid food or no acid food, and you can't water bath can these. You have to pressure can them. So if you want to learn how to pressure can, I've got several videos on my channel. Go check those out. I think you'll really like that process, and I've got a new pressure canner, and it's taken the guesswork out of a lot of it. So definitely check those out. I'll put the link in the description box below. If you like this content, maybe you might consider giving me a thumbs up. I would really appreciate it. And while you're at it, check out one of these other 2 videos over here on the side. You might find something else you like. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Leave me a comment. I want to hear how your chicken stock turns out. And I'll see you in my next video. Bye-bye now.